So Gloria, now you've enjoyed campus, you've finished school, you've done, everything that you wanted. What happened after?
So I have always, like in my life, I've
Mm,
always wanted to create a difference.
mm,
So when I finished campus, I looked back. I looked at where I had grown.
mm,
I looked at my mom. I looked at my family. I said I cannot leave home just like that.
mm,
So I have to first change something at home. So I
mm,
built a house for my mom,
mm.
a
Wow.
very big house for my mom. And
Mm,
it is beautiful. Like people come and say, hey, this
mm,
lady who had the bar, now this is
mm,
where she stays.
mm,
Yes, so I built a house for my mom and then I went into the world.
mm,
I went into the world of work, into the world of adult relationships, friendships, and
mm,
that's how I even had Celine.
mm,
So maybe take you back a little
mm,
bit before I dive so much into when I had Celine. So let
mm,
me talk about before I had Celine. I
mm,
had this guy who was a good guy.
mm,
And I remember the day I found out that I was pregnant. I
mm,
was so happy. There is a certain kind of joy that I felt
mm.
looking at that slip
It's
showing positive that
mm,
it was out of this world. It was
mm,
like heavenly joy.
mm,
I felt a kind of joy that was beyond me. I felt like something covered me, my body up to the feet.
mm,
And it was so beautiful. Like
mm,
I wanted to share this news with this man. And
mm,
this man was happy. He
mm,
was also, but we were not physical.
mm,
To say whether his happiness was physical, but on the other side of the phone,
mm,
he was happy. He said,
mm,
we shall raise a beautiful girl.
mm,
And 1 month into the pregnancy, 2 months, now the communication is changing.
mm,
He's getting busy.
mm,
You cannot know whether he will come for a doctor's appointment or not.
mm,
4 months, he hasn't even come to check on you.
mm.
Ah,
Things
so
started to change.
yeah, things started to change.
Mm,
But for me, I took it as a responsibility. I
mm,
said, this is a responsibility God all the way from heaven has given to me.
mm,
So I'm going to take it as a responsibility. So when this guy wasn't showing up to doctor's appointments,
mm,
when he wasn't picking calls, I said, let me play my role.
mm,
Let me play my role according to how God has given it to me.
mm.
And I remember story, it was hard.
It was hard.
Single motherhood is hard.
Mm,
Whether you have planned it or whether it has just occurred to you,
mm,
no one prepares to be a single mom.
mm,
Whether you have 10 children, whether you have one child,
mm,
single motherhood is hard.
mm,
You see, well, now we can talk over it and it is like okay,
mm,
but it was hard. Astoria, it was lonely.
mm,
I was so lonely during my pregnancy
mm,
and I was so traumatized that that's when I decided that I won't have children again.
mm,
I even said I won't get pregnant again.
mm,
If this is what I have to go through,
mm.
God, let me have only one child.
Why do you think this guy was behaving that way?
At that point, I didn't know,
Mm,
but now I know. Yeah, now I know. I think he wasn't ready, probably, or
mm,
he had other responsibilities,
mm,
or he had other people in my situation to take care of.
mm,
Yes, so then I didn't know. So I prayed, you girl. I prayed for us to be together.
mm,
I prayed for him to find his way out.
mm,
I prayed for his problems to disappear
mm,
so that he can come and be with me. But later on, I said I'm wasting my prayers.
mm. Things
Now
are
let me pray
changing.
differently. But now,
Mm,
when I got pregnant, I remember I had not yet introduced him to my mom, to home. They didn't know him well. They knew him, but they didn't know him well as they should know him.
mm,
So I went and told my mom.
mm,
And I told my mom, me, I won't come back.
mm,
I'm going to go. I will go through all my pregnancy and I'm not coming back. I'll come back when the child is born.
mm,
Because for me, I really go home all the time.
mm,
I can't spend 4 months without going to the village. But I said, how will I go back to the village?
mm,
So I told my mom, I'm going to be there. I'll come back when the child is delivered. So don't wonder why I haven't come back in 9 months.
mm,
So I went into my house. You guys, it was so lonely.
mm,
I would cry. I would wake up in the morning and I just need someone to talk to.
mm,
But Ngaliwa, just even calling And he would tell me, I will come to this doctor's appointment. Guy doesn't come. Even when you have called and told him, I'm going to the hospital, I'm not feeling well, he doesn't call to say, how did it go? You're like, I'm now going for a scan, I don't feel like this. He's like, he doesn't call.
How about the support? Financial
Even
support.
if you call, he would say, I'm also down. I don't have money. And I reached a point I said, let me even stop asking. Because I'm not lacking, I'm not very badly off. Let me stop asking. So in those moments, I was so down. And I wasn't praying even. I was so lonely. Though I knew I trusted God, that I know that God doesn't give you a battle that he knows you can't win, but I lost my faith. I was just so down, so down. I was so depressed. But what I did, I focused on work. All my energy, all my traumas, all my frustrations, I put them on work. I remember even my boss is the one who woke up in the morning and told me, Gloria, you should go and leave. I worked up like 8 months and above because I saw nothing that I would do. I would sit on a border and I'm 7 months pregnant going to the field. But I didn't want to sit at home. I had to divert all my attention to work. But in the early days, in the early months of pregnancy, I was so low. A man should never abandon you when you're pregnant.
Yeah, it is
At
like
least they should
the
sympathize
most
with us.
painful-
Even if he wants to break up with you, he
Mm.
should wait and break
wait.
up with you. When
Because
you
those are the times you need him
you
most.
really need him. I was so lonely, but there was a friend of mine, and she had just joined work. And I blessed that girl. That girl was there for me. And I didn't know anything. Remember, I wasn't even asking my mom for any support because I decided I would not be coming. I wouldn't even get anyone to talk to. So this girl joined work, but she was an angel. She was an angel. I was vomiting for 4 months. There is no one you tell them, you can't say you are vomiting. Is like, you go to the hospital. Even when you go to the hospital, he doesn't go to see how did it go. How are you? Just someone ask you, how are you?
I think he was busy somewhere else.
Yeah, I think his focus was elsewhere. That's why you have to know your intentions with someone. You should be moving on the right path.
Yeah, before everything.
Yeah, so this girl was very supportive. I would go to her place. She cooks all the amazing food I eat. After I finished eating like this, I throw up all the food. For 4 months. For 4 months, I was throwing up into the hospital. They give you this, but it doesn't work. Like, my pregnancy traumatized me. There are some neighbors of mine who said that whoever saw me, if they had seen me, if they already had children, but if any person who saw me and they had no children, they would fear getting pregnant because I was so traumatized. I was so pale.
And you were so lonely in the mind.
Yes. From my body appearance, you would see that things are moving on well, but in my mind,
it was hard.
It was so hard. So I depended on this friend of mine. That girl, she was so there for me. She would cook for me every time I'd want to cry. I would shift my belongings, would meet me with a bag. Going to her place. So she really took care of me, that girl. God bless her. She's such an angel. That girl helped me, and then my boss. I remember my boss told me, I don't know how he knew that maybe I was struggling. People can know. People can know that you were struggling. I remember I was so afraid when I got pregnant because there was that bias at work that you are in the field, you are in the field, you shouldn't just get pregnant. So I told him, I shared with him, I said, I'm pregnant, I don't know if they will fire me. I don't know. She said they will not fire you. I am going to make sure they don't fire you. Because people I would hear stories. So if you get pregnant, they fire you because now how will you go to the field? And we the HR policy wasn't clear on such things. And I was also new. So I had to share with my boss. And then God bless that man. We don't meet angels with wings.
Yeah,
The
so
angels
it
are
comes
not
into existence.
So I remember my boss told me, Gloria, you shall raise that. And I had not shared anything other parts of what was going on. But I remember one day when Gloria, you shall raise that girl. Because he would call me and ask me, Gloria, what should I bring? I might bring milk. He was there, someone who is there. I had people who replaced that. to that man. Like, I even reached a point, I'm like, but Gloria, what are you struggling for? You're looking for love from him. There is love everywhere around you. So get the love where it is. Don't look outside. They said, why am I even looking outside? You call him for money, he doesn't send it, but you don't love. You call him to go to the doctor's appointment, he says he will come, he doesn't come. But if someone else texts you there, like, Gloria, focus. I had to bring myself together. I said, focus. What do you focus on now? Focus on bringing the baby into the world. You will handle everything else later. So in that year, I said, let me focus. Focus when Celine comes, you will sit down and talk. You will sit down and maybe have a conversation. So in that moment, I already knew that this isn't a guy for me. Someone who has left you to go through that. Remember, I was also pregnant for my first time. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't ready like to be a single parent. When you are with a guy in a relationship, you think that things will move on to well, you have your children together, you have a family together, and all of a sudden, someone tells you, move on with your life. Like, how do I move on? I'm pregnant. For him, he's moving on with nothing. In this relationship, I'm the one who having a burden. I'm having a baggage. You are saying you move on. Before you can move on, what are you carrying? How do I move on? Am I looking the way I came?
No.
I already have a
They consider that.
Oh, how do I move on? So the guy said, move on with your life. How do I move on? How do I move on? I look at myself, how do I move on?
The things are just hard.
The things are very hard, but I said focus. This one has happened now. You cannot die. Focus, focus, focus. So I said, now let's focus. We shall see the other things later when the baby is born. Because remember, whatever explains when you're pregnant, it's affecting the child. It's affecting the child. So I said, this guy has made this decision. What's my decision? Focus on bringing the baby into the world. So Celine comes into the world.
So in the hospital,
he didn't. I can tell you that he visited me twice in 9 months. All the time I was pregnant, he came twice. Only 2 times. Sometimes I was traumatized. I was badly. It's only that I'm a strong person, but it was so bad. It was so bad. Motherhood is hard. Motherhood is hard.
Especially if you are alone.
Yes. If you're not no one is ever prepared. You don't go in a relationship and say, no, let me go, I will be a single parent. It just comes.
And it comes with a lot. That is. So single mothers that are watching us this, don't think you are alone. Yeah, so many people have been through it, and by God's grace, things can be okay. So, like, after Celine is born, did he come to check on you guys?
Even this one I should say.
Yes, you should say.
Yes, he did. I went to the village. And his home is near ours. Not in the same district, but it is a little bit far. But he came. We met somewhere, he checked on the baby. Yeah.
And he went out. And so how did it end? Like, how did you plan to just move on alone, knowing that it's now over? I'm just planning to move away with my child, like leave the guy out of your out of your life.
Now you remember, because of that trauma, I had now prayed that I want to be single. Now I decided, after having my daughter, I was so happy. So happy. Like, I've been living in a dream. Motherhood has been like a dream. Like, it's a dream, I can't explain it. But remember, when I had my child, because of that experience, I went through that trauma. I decided that I didn't want to have children anymore. I decided that I wanted to have only Celine. Do what I can, but have only her. So I did not think about other relationships. So because even that guy had told me, move on with your life. So I knew that even after I've had Celine, they were only going to have a conversation. How do we look after the child? How do you support? How do you do this? How do we move forward? But over the course of the forward I was saying about, he wasn't there. Yeah, I wasn't considering moving on with him. Not at all.
So how has been life, you alone, navigating work, Celine, motherhood?
So after all those decisions of I'm not going to be a mother again, I'm never getting pregnant, then of course, life was moving on well. I had friends, and I have friends. I look at myself and just wonder,
Wow.
I have friends, whether they know what I'm going through, whether they don't, they are just there. Yes. I like even when I before I delivered, people were sending me money, who were sending me stuff, who were so excited for me for being pregnant, even beyond how excited I was. So my friends supported me from the very beginning. Like they said, aunties, I had to say this, aunties, uncles, tata, koja. Like I had people, I have people. This is my daughter. Like saying that's what she calls tata. And at first I was so annoyed. Every time like a friend came home and saying you call that person tata, but that's not the tata. But then later on I said, what's wrong with having many fathers? Isn't it a good thing? If you have like 100 people who will care for you.
Call that.
So all those things just go away slowly. But it was hurting me at first. Here my daughter calling a different person tata. Then I'm like, she doesn't even know the tata now. But all those things later go away. I had to accept my situation. I said, you're not the only single parent in the world. I said, and you're young. And I said, God has something else for you to do. This is a responsibility. He will give you other responsibilities. So when I was there deciding, I don't want to be a mother. I said, but you want to do those things. Feelings. I said, how about my feelings? Am I going to suppress my feelings for life? I said, I'm not even yet 30. How will I die at 70 when I'm just alone? So I said, let me first raise my daughter after a certain time, and then I will see. Since now God has been so good to me, I didn't ask for a child, He gave me a child. I didn't ask blessing mother, but He's making me successful at it. So I'm like, oh, okay, God, give me what you want me to do next. So I was focused on work, I was raising my girl, but I said, let me heal slowly. So I had someone I usually refer to as a spiritual guide. So I met someone who was very, very good to me. Was like a father figure to me. So he told me about all those childhood traumas. He taught me about forgiveness. He told me, Gloria, there's no way you will move forward if you haven't forgiven people who have hurt you. So I had to forgive my mom. My mom and I now have an amazing relationship. I had to forgive my mom. I had to forgive my dad. I had to forgive that man. I had to forgive him so that we can move forward. I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive Celine because she would make me feel like, hey, my life isn't moving on well because of her. I would have done this because of her. So I had to put everything now into perspective and put it in God's hands. So I had to learn forgiveness. I'm a very easy person, whether you annoy me or what. I just forgive you. But then at first I was so bitter. So Peter said, God, of all the things, whatever, go, I raised the baby alone. I said, but I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. And he said, even if I'm bad, at least someone should be able to be with me even when I'm bad. To at least understand and we compromise.
You wanted to complain to God.
Yeah. I said, I'm not the worst. So I had to first put my life on hold. I said, let me first now put my life in order. And am I going to produce for another man who won't be there? I go through this. I said, no. So I had to set my standards. I had to pray, I had to forgive. Forgiveness didn't come so easy. I was so bitter. I remember that childhood trauma that I went through with my mom. You say I can talk about it easily, but it was so hard. So I had to forgive everyone who had hurt me. I had to forgive the people in that guy's life who had brought to this situation. Yes, I had to forgive everyone. So when I forgave everyone, I sought forgiveness for myself. So when I sought forgiveness for myself, now I had to let loose. I had to let go of those traumas, like you when you were hurt, when you're in pain, you build a hedge around yourself to protect yourself. So to you make sure others people are outside because you're in pain. So I had to let loose, I had to let go and open myself up for opportunities and go beyond it. Know that this is just a story. It will have someone it will impact. And that's how life has been. It's been good. Really, really good.
So apparently you think of dating. Are you dating?
I am thinking of dating. Yes.
Okay, that's very
I'm
nice.
thinking of dating. Right now, I say that I'm thinking of dating, but of course, there is a sweetheart out there.
So people should not put their hope. You know, we have some viewers who want. Dear viewers, please, you guys throw stones. Me, I'm telling you. Yeah, you're
But
just
since
joking.
there's no ring here,
there is some hope because she
Yeah.
doesn't have a ring yet. Yeah, that's a very interesting story, and I can tell it was, so bad, so good. Yeah, everything. Someone can pick something and learn from it.
Yes, so we have purpose. We all have a purpose. Yeah, know that whatever you're going through, even if right now it doesn't make sense, it will one day.
Yeah.
It will one day.
That's very nice. I believe you have learned a thing or two. I don't like, watering people's stories, like breaking them and adding my things. Yeah, you have learned a lot. And if you're a single mother, maybe you have, you are feeling like this child is a mistake. I should have been, those feelings sometimes will come. But always and always trust God and let Him guide you in your life. And, all things can work if you prioritize Him. Thank you so much for watching. I believe by this time you have already subscribed. You people have subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed. And turn on the bell so that you'll be notified every time we upload a video. And for now, Gloria can say bye to you.
Bye.